Alright. So gonna continue walking through this deck that I piloted to 9th place at the PTQ finals over the weekend. And so I just finished up the deck tech. Gonna be going into some games now. So here we go. Alright, so as I said, we lost round 1 to Mardu. Expand this here. Okay. So this is a really good hand. Cheap interaction and a way to get ahead on board. Keep it in the dark every time. He's playing Mardu. He actually, we find out that he actually kept a really slow hand this game, and it was really strange. Throughout this game, I was not sure if he was like an actual Mardu deck or, you know, some Mardu mid-range deck. Yeah, cycling this on turn 2. he's a little mono-flooded. Yeah, it might be wrong not to harness lightning that, but like usually Mardu just has so many threats that I don't like using my removal on Thraben Inspectors if I don't have to. But it might be better than just not using my mana at all. Yeah, so I gave him an opening to resolve Gideon, and I was basically only able to do that because I have commit in my hand. If I did not have commit in my hand, then there's no way that I would tap out for that tower there. And him attacking with only Needle Spires as the crackback is a sign that he just doesn't have anything in his hand. Yeah, so he's cycling a bunch. He's very mono-screwed. Finally decided to use the Thraben Inspector now that we have tower in play. We get to go get lands. That brings us up to 5 energy. We have to disallow, commit, double harness lightning up. Just shoot it down. He's got a walking ballista, and we decide to commit that. Try to just use all our mana. This turn, we get to 6. Yeah, this game is basically over. He probably has removal in his hand. But it's, yeah, him holding that up makes me think that he has unlicensed disintegration, which is why I don't go for the Gear Hulk here. I just want to permanently answer the walking ballista if I'm going to be flashing in the Gear Hulk. Yeah, so we're just not under any pressure whatsoever and can just afford to sit here with our handful of answers. I think eventually he just concedes when we're sitting here with 7 cards in our hand and he keeps drawing lands. Yeah, he kept a real stinky hand, probably full of a bunch of removal. Alright, yeah, he just concedes. He's probably holding a bunch of removal in his hand. Okay, so you will exit out of this game. I think I have to just close it. There we go. Okay, so starting game 2. Before we begin, let's take a look at how I sideboarded. So I took out the sensors, being on the draw, took out the 2 Essence Scatters, brought in 1 Negate. I cut a Void Shatter, I cut a Commit to Memory. I brought in 1 Negate, 1 Natural State, 1 Sweltering Suns, 1 Magma Spray, and 2 Glory Bringers. I sideboarded like this because I wasn't sure if he was a real Mardu deck. Like, we saw Thraben Inspector, we saw Toolcraft Exemplar, and Walking Ballista. Like, he might... Toolcraft Exemplar is kind of a tell that he's on the Mardu vehicles, but I wasn't sure, so I sideboarded conservatively. Yeah. Oh, and we mulliganed a bunch. Can we go back? I skipped through that. Here, we'll go back. Okay, yeah, we did not play very much Magic in game 2. So this hand, in the dark, I would keep this almost every time. On the draw against Mardu, this is just way too slow. So we mulligan it. and get punished. Can't keep this. Like, having land Thing in the Ice disallow is okay, but having 2 Torrential Gearhulks makes it hard. So we mulligan down to 4, and we keep this unexciting hand. Let's see. Did we scry that? Yeah, we had to bottom that. We don't have a red source. So we scried Harness Lightning to the bottom. And then we drew our red source. Punished. Yeah. Being on the draw with this deck is no bueno. Yeah, so he's just stripping us of our interaction. We have to tap out for tower here just because we have literally nothing else to do. And then he resolves Gideon, and it's a short game. Yeah, even if he didn't resolve Gideon there, we were in trouble, but him resolving Gideon there, we were just dead. So didn't get to play much Magic this game. I think that mulliganing that 7-card hand is correct against this matchup. So let's go to game 3. I think I sideboard slightly differently for game 3 now that I know that he's just a Mardu deck. Let's open up chat. View sideboard. Yeah. Oh. Okay, so I brought Censor back in. Essence Scatter is still out. Took out all the Commit to Memories. Like, it's good to have an answer to Gideon, but I just wanted to have Censor because, like, a turn 5 or 6 Gideon is beatable, especially with Tower and Thing in the Ice in the deck. But a turn 4 Gideon is not really beatable. So having Censor back in the deck, I felt comfortable cutting the memories. It was probably wrong to not have Natural State or Magma Spray in the board, and this game I draw Sweltering Suns and don't like having it in the deck. So definitely did not sideboard optimally here, and got a little punished for it, but you live and you learn. So we're on the play this game. Have to mulligan this hand. Just, you need to have interaction against Mardu. This hand is okay, but not great. We bottom that land. It might have been correct to try to hold the Traverse, but for when we have a tower or a thing in play, but like, we need to get to 4 mana, so I didn't want to end up in a situation later where like I needed to Glimmer for my 4th land, but I also needed to cast stuff on turn 3. Yep. And then he curves out on us. And we draw Censor here. That was so poetic. Draw Censor on turn 3 after he resolves Toolcraft Heart. And we're just so far behind this game. Like, him having that opening and no interaction for it. Yeah, we're just so far behind. Magma Spray and Natural State number 2 and number 4 should... No, Magma Spray number 4 and Natural State number 2 should for sure be in the deck. And we would be less soft to this start. But this was literally my first time playing the Mardu matchup with this build, and we played rather suboptimally. Yeah, another misplay here that I realized as soon as I let this trigger resolve was if I Glimmered in response to the trigger and then shot it, then he would have to crew with this, and he would have a Scrap Heap Scrounger in play and a Heart of Quran instead of a Toolcraft Exemplar, Heart of Quran, and a Scrap Heap Scrounger in the graveyard. So that was definitely suboptimal. And I'm pretty sure I punt here on this Scry as well. Yeah, just did not play. So like, I get Glorybringer and Aether Hub to cast it, and I think I end up bottoming the Glorybringer because I just want to get ways to interact with his heart. Like, Glorybringer can't kill heart, and I figured if he plays a Gideon here, Glorybringer can't kill the Gideon because he has a heart in play. So I bottom the Glorybringer, and then when I'm looking at my hand next turn, I'm just like, man, I really wish I had that Glorybringer in my hand, but I just bottomed it. Yeah, I draw Sweltering Suns instead, which is just awful. Yeah, I don't like Sweltering Suns here precisely for this reason, right? You have to be trading 1-for-1 with their guys, or you're just going to take too much damage. Like, taking damage to try to set up a 2-for-1 with Sweltering Suns is just not worth it. Yeah, he resolves a Nahiri here. Gets our tower. And then, yeah, if I had Glorybringer here, I could attack Nahiri, exert on the Exemplar, and then he either loses Nahiri or Heart, either of which I'm fine with. We would still, like, if the Nahiri dies, then we would still take 4 from the Heart next turn. But I think that having Glorybringer here would have been preferable to having Sweltering Suns, and then we just die. Yeah. We don't, like, we never get to use any of our counter spells this game, because we were just so far behind from his turn 1 and turn 2. This is why it's important to have Natural State and Magma Spray in the 75. Only problem is that you also need to side them in accordingly. It was just a huge punt to not bring them in. Like, I had a reason to not bring them in Game 2, and then didn't correctly readjust for Game 3 to bring them in. So we lost our round 1, which is hugely discouraging. Gives us horrible breakers, but we're still alive for top 8 if we just win out the rest. So yeah, that was round 1. Puntsville galore. Like, we just didn't play very much Magic. Game 1, he didn't play Magic. Game 2, I didn't play Magic. And then Game 3, I just punted left and right. But yeah, I think that the Mardu matchup as a whole isn't awful if you play it correctly. But playing it correctly is not as easy as it sounds. Okay, so thanks for watching. That was round 1 against Mardu Vehicles, and we'll be back for round 2 against Blue-Red Control next. So thanks for watching.